we doing this as sports fans if we can't enjoy any of it? Like, if it's championship or fuck everything else, why are we doing this?
That's what I'm saying.
Why are we sitting here talking about
that's
the
what
game?
I'm saying. It's like I want to enjoy the game. I want to watch the game and not be like, what the fuck are they doing again?
Look,
you know what I mean?
I'm not saying you can't enjoy the season. I'm just saying at the end of it, if it doesn't wind up in a title, that's a disappointment with how much you've spent.
Yeah, but
here
it's
and
not
what
a
you put
failure.
together.
This team is different. Like that team that ended the year in the playoffs versus Minnesota, I flushed that a long time ago. That's not the team we're going to see this year.
You flushed the ice cream.
I did. The shit bowl of ice cream.
Just that top layer so you can have that ice cream.
I flushed it. We got a new coach. We got some new pieces. Experience is the best teacher. This big three has some experience now. I think this is an entirely different team, and I think I don't want to go into the world where I got I don't want to go into the PTSD world of just like, okay, that's who they are. Nah, I'm done.
I'm not saying that that's who they are. I'm cautiously optimistic about this squad, but again, I didn't really care about who they added to the mix. I really didn't care because I didn't think that they were going to add some big-time name outside of LeBron for a little short window, right? It's all going to be about Bud and the big three. What are they going to do? How are they going to rectify this? How are they going to fix this situation? How are they going to elevate everybody else? And how are they going to be more consistent than they were last year? Because last year was 49 wins sounds like it shouldn't be a disappointment, but it was because our expectations weren't to get bounced in the first round. They were to at least make a decent run second, third round. And
what are your expectations next year?
I don't have any expectations.
That's good.
I don't have any expectations.
This is why I think this team's going to be very good
but
next year.
I will say this.
Because I think the expectations drop significantly.
My expectation is what I just said. I want to see consistency. I want to see high-level play. And whatever goes from there, I'll live with. I'll be fine. But if they're just out there turning the ball over 25 times a game
that's not it.
they're not looking like they have any cohesion and chemistry's all jacked up, and then I got to hear, they've only played 50 games together. They've only played 60 games together. Fuck that. Win a game.
But I'm sorry. There are expectations. When you spend almost $500 million on your roster, there are the expectation is you win a title.
I'm
if you do not win a title this year, you have wasted 2 years of Devin Booker's prime.
You haven't wasted.
Yes,
no, you didn't waste it.
You tried. You went all in. Like,
you tried.
Win or you failed.
You tried.
Why? Okay. Great. Give me some orange slices and a participation trophy. Enough of this bullshit of they tried.
No, but you can't.
Either you win or you don't.
Okay, Yoda, fucking relax. Why are we doing this as sports fans if we can't enjoy any of it? Like, if it's championship or fuck everything else, why are we doing this?
That's what I'm saying.
Why are we sitting here talking about the game?
That's what I'm saying. It's like I want to enjoy the game. I want to watch the game and not be like, what the fuck are they doing again?
Look,
you know what I mean?
I'm not saying you can't enjoy the season. I'm just saying at the end of it, if it doesn't wind up in a title, that's a disappointment with how much you've spent.
Yeah, but
here
it's not
and
a
what you put
failure.
together.
You didn't listen
failure
to
by the
Giannis.
definition.
Come on, man. Do we need to pull up the Giannis clip? There's no failure in sports.
It's failure by definition, yes. But it doesn't mean that, it was a mistake. That's my thing. If you are going all in and you're pushing your chips to the table, we said this 2 years ago when they traded for KD and then when they followed up with Beal. We were so sick of the young team that they had because we felt like we hit our ceiling. We didn't want to just be complacent. We would have looked at the next 2 years with an aging Chris Paul and a DeAndre Ayton who hadn't figured it out and been like, well, we've just wasted 2 years of Devin Booker's prime. At least they push all the chips to the table, and it's like, fuck it. If we go big, we go big or we go home. If we lose, then we retool. We do something different in 2026, but at least they're fucking going for it.
But I think the thought process cannot be a failure. The action to put them in this position and spend the money cannot be a failure, but the result can be.
Yeah.
I will never besmirch Matt Ishbia for spending the money and going all in and trying to win, but that doesn't mean if the product on the court doesn't live up to it that part can't be disappointing. And you can enjoy the ride and be pissed off at the destination.
But what you're saying now is different than saying you wasted 2 years of Booker's prime. That's different.
Okay, but the reality is, at the end of it, if you don't win, he's 2 years older, and then you're looking at in 2026. another retool or rebuild
right,
where now it's the third iteration
I
of trying
get that,
to get in there.
I get that, dog, but we got to stay where we're at. Like, I'm a little frustrated with the constant looking at the next move and the next move. Listen, I think they went all in. They have a team that they think can compete. I'm looking at this team very much like the 21 team. When we made the Chris Paul deal and we made these adjustments, no one had expectations of the Suns winning a championship. Shit, I remember doing a show with you two right here, and we were talking barely make the playoffs that year. Oh. So this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that team's so different. No. This team has Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, a $400 million. That was a surprise team. You added Chris Paul to Devin Booker and a group of young guys.
Yeah, but
and they did surprise.
Yeah, but
this team ain't gonna surprise.
I feel like it is.
I think it
so
could.
Many people
Everybody's
are so
down on them,
right?
So
nobody is putting them in a contender class right now.
That's what I'm saying.
But
like they are gonna surprise.
The narrative will be, oh, they finally did what everybody thought they would do. It's not going to be,
that drives me crazy.
But again, who gives a shit about what other people think about that in that reality?
Like sports.
No, yeah, but that
we have no job without the narrative.
But we saw what we saw in last year. Like these three didn't win a championship. They didn't play at a high level in the playoffs, and they got bounced. So if they come back this year and fix those problems, I don't think people are going to be like, well, that's what they were supposed to do. No, because we just saw what they did and what they were capable of not doing last year.
They will not be viewed like the 2021
No,
Suns.
They're not going to be 21. But that was like a Cinderella team.
That was a surprise.
That was a surprise
but you don't
team.
have to
but that doesn't mean the expectations.
No.
That doesn't mean that the expectations that are set on this team got to prevent you from being pleasantly surprised this season.
That's what I'm saying.
I think that's going to be the case. And also, real quick, guys, the other thing I would say is like, organizationally, just like us launching this company, right? Over the course of the last 3 years, we've learned a lot of different things about what to do and what not to do in terms of how to get the very best product out there, right? I think this organization, and with Matt Ishbia and Bartelstein and everybody, they're kind of doing the same thing. They're like, okay, this is how we thought we wanted to attack this. And then as you go along, you start to realize, like, oh, we should not have done that. Let's not do that in the future. And my point is I think organizationally, we have a championship. In my eyes, we have a championship-level commitment from the organization to try and do everything they can to win. And at some point, even if it's without Devin Booker down the road, 10 years down the road or whatever, I think organizationally they'll find their consistency enough to be at a high level year in, year out. And that's the whole goal. It's like you want to be a championship-level organization year in, year out, not just these little flashes. They try to get the flash to get everything going right now, and I get it with KD and everything like that. As this goes along, I think those things are going to start to weed themselves out, and they're going to find a little bit more balance across the board, but that floor will go higher, and that's what you want as a fan.
If the Suns win 55 games, are a team that we're looking at and saying this team can beat anyone in a playoff series and get to the Western Conference Finals, I can't view that as a failure. I'm not doing that this year. I am not saying championship or bust this year. I'm saying the narrative around the world is this team is ass, this team got swept, this team is terrible. Stick with that narrative and let these guys play ball, but don't change the now when the Suns come out 20-10 and they got one of the best records in basketball, don't immediately run to, okay, they better win a championship. No, you weren't saying that coming in. No one has the Phoenix Suns as a championship contender right now.
I do. I think they went, like I said the other day, 55 to 60 games. I think bare minimum they make the Western Conference Finals. That's how much I believe in the changes that were made, Bud coming in and making a giant impact, and that's why I still have my standard set there at championship or bust, because to your point, I think they did learn from last year when they made the changes.
Our point is not that it shouldn't be championship or bust. Like with this payroll, with the talent that you have with the big three, obviously it's championship or bust. But my thing is pushing back on the idea that if they fail, it was a waste of time. It was the wrong decision. Like, you can make the right decision and still not win a championship. 29 teams do it every fucking year, pretty much. So, like, we as fans need to understand that, when we look back on Steve Nash's years, like, obviously the fact that he never won a title stings us.
Never got
to it. But do we look at Steve Nash as a failure? Do we look at those years as a failure? No. We had fun.
No. Individually, Steve Nash is not a failure. Those years, they were a failure.
No, they were not.
They did not win a title.
It doesn't matter. going to change basketball.
It's a
if you're
failure,
not playing
but
this
it's
to
not
win a title, what the fuck's the point of the last
It's
57 years?
failure by
We haven't won a
definition,
title in
but
58
it's not.
years. Have you not been happy at all during this entire run of Suns basketball?
Enjoying it and being happy with the result, again, are two different things. So, no. 57 years without a title is horseshit. I don't care if you have the fifth best.
But you've never won a title. How would you know how it feels?
It's got to feel better than losing in the first round.